Thank you, Don and Christina. I am joined right now by Jemiah Sius, who's a Senior Director of Product Management at New Relic. How are you doing?
I'm super excited to be here.
Cool. Welcome to build number 2, you said?
Yeah, it's my second time.
Great. So, what are we talking about today? We're talking about LLMs, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about solving some of the problems that software engineers are going to face as they're exploring AI applications and developing LLMs.
Great. Yeah, so, I mean, AI applications are becoming ever more present, and that usually involves integrating an LLM into the app. So what are some of the roadblocks that people can run into?
Sure. I think with, we should all be aware that with every advancement in technology, right? So the move from monolithic apps to distributed services, migrating to the cloud from on-prem, even moving into streaming apps, right? Everything comes with new challenges, and that's what we're also going to see with AI applications. Thinking about the differences in between developing the two different applications, right? So AI apps are dealing with more latency, slower response times, things like that. So some of the challenges that developers really need to be thinking about is, one, how to properly scale those applications, right? So making sure they have the right infrastructure in place to understand what's going on within their systems. How to address some of the issues with latency, understanding that from the user request into the LLM, into the database, that's going to take time, and you're dealing with user experience at that point, right? And our users aren't necessarily thinking about, oh, well, this request is taking a long time because there's so much more happening on the back end. They just want an answer. And more importantly, they want it right.
They
want the right answer.
I want it right, and I want it now.
And that's also another challenge that we face, right? Is making sure that your answers are accurate and you have the right information going back to users, because if not, then you deal with trust issues and you have one shot before they move on to another tool. And there's so many tools that are happening right now. So those are some of the key things that software engineers are facing as we move further into this exploration of AI and the power that it truly brings to our lives.
That makes sense. I know accuracy is definitely a big deal for me. It's like, is this right? So how can developers effectively address, you mentioned like latency and performance issues, and also scalability when it comes to integrating those LLMs into the AI-based applications?
So there's a few things, and it's a mixture of following current best practices, also advancing your tool set, and then building in like just some core processes into the way that you're doing things, right? So on an accuracy side, you want to be trying to provide the best response possible, right? So it's identifying gaps inside of your training models to be able to provide additional context using things like RAG, right? So making sure that you can close those gaps and get rid of the possibility of hallucinations. But then also you want to be pruning your data set on a regular basis, and that's going to help with the latency and the back and forth, right? Starting to reduce some of that time. So it's really thinking about the information that you're training your model on. And then from there, observability actually really comes into play with understanding all of the other things. So from a scalability standpoint, you want to make sure that your architecture is strong enough to provide the computational power that's needed, and that you understand what's going on there. Observability is going to give you insight of like your end-to-end traces. And then you want to also be looking at things like cost management, understanding how many tokens am I spending on this request, or how are we managing costs? Should we be using pay for, LLM? Should we be training our own models? So those are some of the things that they should be thinking about to solve some of the challenges. And it's really a mixture of everything above in order to provide like the right need for your particular use case.
Cool. Now, I know we're running low on time, but do you have a quick SparkNotes demo that you could show us maybe?
Yeah, I can actually show you what some of this looks like within the New Relic platform.
Sweet.
Right? So just to give a brief overview, this is kind of like the landscape of all of the services that are reporting data in. I can see applications, hosts, things that are instrumented with agents, and open telemetry. But I want to go into a specific service. It's just a sample AI app, right, where I'm building a chat service, right? And this is going to give me a view of all of my requests that have come in within the last 24 hours, but I can go deeper directly into the AI request, looking at my total response, the amount of time it's taking, whether it's going up or down, my token usage, so this is going to allow me to manage costs. But going deeper, I can actually look at the different requests and then start to find any ones that had errors in them, right? That I want to actually dive into the question that was asked, all the different steps that it took to get through this transaction, and I can expand it so it's not only the AI spans, but I can see my entire stack within here. And then so the platform makes it easy for you to then identify issues that you may have had. So I can actually see that there's an error and quickly get into kind of like the error details or go into the logs for this particular application. That's going to make it really easy for me to find the information that I need to make decisions around, you know, what's happening, what's causing my my users troubles, how could I possibly reduce token usage and manage costs. All right, so we make it really simple to see all of that within one space with the rest of your entire stack being shown as well, and it's all in context.
Cool. Well, that is awesome. I love seeing a centralized dashboard like that. And if you want to learn more about New Relic and the work that they're doing to alleviate the troubles of integrating LLMs, you can check out aka.ms/build24fp/New Relic, or the Chiron that's right behind me. So thank you, Jemiah.
And come over to our booth if you have questions. That'll be a little bit easier.
See, that's easy too. Yeah, check out the
come right
booth
over
too.
to the booth. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.